And
Correct.
so I've had many conversations with good men and good women that have a longer history in evangelicalism than I do, and they've sort of given me a sense of context. And they say that, at the dank right that we're seeing right now, this tone that I think many agree is far over the line in terms of Christian behavior. They will say that, well, Doug Wilson, he set the stage for that, and it was his book, The Serrated Edge, and it was that approach that he really pioneered these techniques, this approach, this posture that now all these guys, they're blameless. They're sort of taking it. It's his fault for the way that they're responding. And it sounds to me that that's sort of a similar idea, that like this is a play in a way that's being run to say that, like, well, you do it this way, and then they iterate on that in perhaps sinful ways. Oh, but it's really the serrated edge's fault.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and it's on point. And I would, and I'm not unused to that question. That's a common allegation. Look, you were the pioneer, and it doesn't help matters when some of the people who are misbehaving over there will say that themselves. I first learned this from Doug Wilson, and my hat's off to him. And too bad he turned into a boomercon, but I first learned it from him, and credit where credit's due. Now, back to my praise of Adolf, Yeah. So the problem with this analysis is that you see it. It's a logical fallacy. I think that cries out for a name. Probably does. It's an informal fallacy, but the Apostle Paul taught free grace. Okay, you turn to Christ, look to Christ. Apart from works of the law, you're justified by faith alone, apart from works of the law. Now, one of you will say to me then, okay, why not do evil that good may come?
Right.
Okay, so when you look at the book of Romans, he's laying out his gospel of free grace, and then he points to certain ways that gospel will be distorted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he says somebody's going to say this, either as an adversary, what you're saying leads to antinomianism, or someone's going to pick it up and run and become an antinomian in the name of Paul. Okay, so Paul's going to teach free grace, and an antinomian will pick it up and run with it, or a legalistic Pharisee will pick it up and accuse Paul with it. See, look at what you're causing. Paul's response to that is their condemnation is just. That's not what I said. That's not what I teach. That's not where it goes. How can we who died to sin still live in it? Mm-hmm. Okay, the answer is just laid out very clear. I'm not saying that. The people who are distorting what I'm saying to justify their sin, their condemnation is just. Those who fail to recognize that I am unalterably opposed to that kind of distortion, their condemnation is just. Someone threw this charge at Martin Luther. If you teach this gospel of free grace, then people are just going to say, I'm forgiven, I can go sin up a storm. And Luther's response was, let them. Yeah. They answer to God. I answer to God for what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And I do believe that I have to make it clear that the dank right is radically misunderstanding what we're doing and what we're about. And they're not my prime pupils, or they're not my star pupils that are going on to show the deeper way. They are kids who flunked out of the class, and they said, well, I studied under Wilson. I learned all these tricks from him. And someone comes to me and says, what about Schwartz over here? He says he learned all this. He says he was your former student. He says he learned all this from you. I'd say, sure. Would you like to see his grade book? Would you like to see the grade book?
I think, and that was sort of how I felt about it. And that was always my response, because my belief is, as a man, I'm responsible for what I say and for what I do and for my work. And I can't point to, well, I learned there's a classic, like, don't do drugs, don't smoke, a non-smoking ad from like the 80s or something like that, where a kid is smoking a cigarette in his room. His dad comes in, is like, who taught you this? And the kid's like, I learned it from watching you, Dad. I learned it from watching you. Right. And the dad has this moment of conviction. And
Right.
like, okay, sure. So you have a kid in his room, from
Mhm.
his father at a certain stage of life. We can accept that. But when we're talking about conduct as adult men who are responsible for our own lives and our own worlds, our own words in the public square, let's say, it lands squarely on you and your relationship with God. Don't look at the other guy, like, look at yourself. And
Right.
I'm grateful to know that Luther said the same.
Yeah, and so if some online troll is attacking other people's reputations, and he's doing some crusader with laser eyes thing, but he's attacking individuals by name, he's just personal destruction, and then he says he learned it from me, I'd say I sign everything I write.
Mm.
Okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't hide behind an avatar. Um, so just lesson number one, uh, you're not doing it. Yeah. So basically, I think that there is one aspect of this to which I'm very grateful, um, to the Dank guys on the right.
Mhm.
Okay, because they have done what no one was able to do up to this point, which is that they've made me look like a moderate. All of a sudden, I'm balanced.
Yes, yeah. I'm the nice middle of the road guy. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you so
I'm
much for
not.
that.
Oh, all of a sudden, I'm winsome.
Thanks. Thanks for that. Cheers. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, plus leave a comment down below letting us know what you thought.